Salut tout le monde. Alors on va continuer Baphomet. On en est au puits dans la villa des Vasconcelos. On a réussi à trouver le puits et on descend explorer ça. Alors,
Thinking back to how long it had taken the can to fall to the bottom, I stayed as far from the edge as I could. It was a long way down. The brilliant midday sun shone almost directly down the shaft, and I still couldn't see the water. I'd already risked my neck with one death-defying leap in Syria. I wasn't about to push my luck again. Sometime in antiquity, there'd been a rock slide. Big ones. I wished I'd had a hard hat. I'd need tools to move all that stuff, heavy equipment that just wasn't available.
bon alors comme la dernière fois, enfin comme j'en avais parlé, oula, j'arrive pas à parler français. J'en avais parlé la dernière fois du passage du visuel original au remake qui était beaucoup plus sombre. Voilà, comme ça c'est clair, c'est le cas de le dire. On voit beaucoup mieux en fait en original. Ils ont vachement assombri dans le remake. C'est des effets de lumière, mais bon, c'est vrai qu'ils auraient pu un petit peu rajouter, enfin qu'on voit un peu plus les détails, quoi. Voilà, donc c'est un peu dommage ça. C'est un des seuls bémols du jeu, donc bon, ça
A
va.
great stone lion's head with a gaping maw full of fangs. As far as I knew, nobody had cast eyes upon it for centuries as it stood, waiting in the cool shadows. The words of the psalm kept running through my head, "Save me from the lion's mouth." From a distance, the lion's head had been impressive. Close up, it was frightening. Hey, one of the fangs is a separate piece. I could hear the sound of a lot of stone moving, and I knew I was in danger.
Senior Snowman!
Ok,
Senior Snowman! Are you alright? Senior Snowman!
je crois que je suis mort. Ah, j'ai débloqué une mort. Ok. Alors qu'est-ce que je dois faire du coup?
From a distance, the lion's head had been impressive. Close up, it was frightening. Hey, one of the fangs is a separate piece. I could hear the sound of a lot of stone moving, and I knew I was in danger.
Ah bah voilà, fallait juste se diriger autre part en fait. C'est esquiver la chute.
Oh, very funny, you psychos! Senior Snowman! Senior Snowman! Are you alright?
It's okay, Lopez, I'm fine.
Hey, susto mi has dado! You gave me a scare!
Nice try, Templars.
Voilà, on sait jamais, une petite sauvegarde parce que là, vu ce qui vient de se passer,
In the deep shadows, it was hard to make anything out. I wished that I had Leary's flashlight now. It just felt like a pitted stone wall. I'd almost been killed for the sake of a red herring. There, in the middle of the door, I could see some kind of socket. It looked like this wasn't quite the dead end it had seemed. That rock face wasn't nearly as natural as it felt. In the reflected light, I'd seen part of it as worked stone.
Ah. Euh, Ah oui, la clé en pierre, oui, oui, évidemment.
Open sesame! Another secret door.
Oh, petite cinématique. Ah, c'était court,
Before I
hein.
left, though, there was one last thing to do. You won't be needing that replacement piece anymore, Countess. I found it with the children. You'll probably want to be alone for a while. I'll be out in the garden with Lopez.
Succès, réunissez la comtesse avec sa famille. Voilà, du coup, on est vraiment à l'approche de la fin du jeu, hein. Il reste peut-être 2 zones à
George,
tout casser.
welcome back.
Oh,
Come
le
in,
binôme.
Josh. It's good to see you again.
Is it?
Sure. What did you find in Spain?
Without Andre, we wouldn't have got this far, Josh.
Yeah, I know. The clues led to an underground chamber at the bottom of a well. The Templars had left a tapestry showing a chessboard. The white pieces were vastly outnumbered. There was a stream running across the board, and a Templar knight on a horse.
Does it mean anything to you, Andre?
No, nothing.
Maybe we should tell Andre what else you found, Josh.
There's a map and a Latin inscription to the west at the edge of the world.
Josh found that in a cave in Syria.
Yeah, where the assassin almost killed me.
Then we've got the burning of Jacques de Molay and the date, 1314.
From the window of the church in Maleficent Square, one of the few places where nobody tried to kill me.
Then we have the image of a church that George found at the excavation. I don't recall anyone trying to kill you there either, George.
And finally, we have the tapestry in Spain. Did I mention I almost got killed there?
Not yet, but I'm sure you're about to.
It was only my cat-like reflexes that saved me from certain death.
Cat-like reflexes, eh?
And while I was risking life and limb, where were you, Andre? Getting your glasses fogged up over an Etruscan vase?
That's enough, boys. Can we get back to saving the world?
Of course. My apologies.
He started it.
Well, the Latin phrase are the words of Julius Caesar. He was describing the island of Britain.
Are you sure? The map didn't look much like Britain.
How come Caesar described Britain as being at the edge of the world?
To the Romans, the Mediterranean was the center of the universe. Britain was a remote, unfriendly place, inhabited by blue-painted savages.
It hasn't changed much,
They've stopped painting themselves blue.
except when they go to a football match.
They used an extract from a plant called woad, Isetis tinctoria. The Scots were using it until fairly recently in the wars with the English.
Fairly recently? I don't recall the Scots being at war with the English. How recently are you talking about?
I believe William Wallace's men used it in the 13th century. They might well have been using it as late as...
You can't remember, can you?
1314.
Ah, we're back onto that, are we?
Andre, what is it? What do you mean?
1314 in Scotland. The Battle of Bannockburn.
That would explain the stream on the chessboard. That's what a burn is. Right, Andre? As in Bannockburn?
Right, George. And it gets better. Tradition has it that the Scots were helped by a shock force of, well, can't you guess?
Knights Templar?
Yes, a group of outlawed Templars. They are said to have turned the tide for the Scots.
And it all ends at a church in the Isle of Britain at Bannockburn in a church.
What are we waiting for? I'll call a cab.
Allez, c'est parti pour Bannockburn. On va prendre le train.
I can't go.
Tant mieux.
Andre, you've been loads of help, but
What George is trying to say is that you shouldn't feel guilty.
I was.
We understand you've got commitments. Oh, listen, we have to hurry. Let's go, George.
We'll see it through. Oh, and don't worry about us.
C'est le début de la... Enfin, le début. C'est la grande rivalité entre George et... Entre George et Lobino. Ah, c'est parti pour le train. Waouh! Comment c'était avant?
Oh, it must be dawn.
Ça va.
Oh, I guess so. And we must be nearly there. Somewhere, out there in the dark, is Scotland. We've come a long way together to get here.
Yeah. Let's hope it was worth it.
Do you want to look after this ticket?
Not me. I don't want to get involved with the British Railways official.
There's something I've been meaning to say to you, Nico.
Is this the right time and place, George?
There might not be another time. I don't want to waste this chance.
You don't need to say anything. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. But here, with you. Now.
Waouh, c'était un peu... c'était bizarre.
You're exhausted. Why don't you get some sleep?
Sleep? At a time like this?
Excited, huh?
Would you like something to help you sleep, dearie?
Cette
I've
voix...
got some tablets in my bag.
Oh,
Oh
no.
la vache.
Thank you.
Thanks all the same, ma'am.
Bon, bah on va lui parler du coup. Puis après,
The old
après on
lady
sortira.
reminded me of my grandmother. Except, of course, that this old lady was still alive. Pardon me?
Yes, my dear.
Do you know what time we're due in Stirling?
A 6:15, but we're running 8 minutes late.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
A manhole lifting key.
You knew that?
Of course, I never leave home without one.
You're joking.
What use would an old lady have for such a thing?
Would you believe that this clown's nose led us to being on this train tonight?
I would indeed.
No, honestly, it... You would?
Certainly. You have an honest face.
Have you ever seen this man before?
An interesting looking fellow.
Interesting. He's a killer.
And that's not interesting?
Do you know what this is?
Yes, I do. A young friend of mine shook my hand with one just the other day.
Yeah? Well, that's outrageous. He should be shot.
Perhaps. Still, his intentions were good.
Does the name Merlin mean anything to you?
Merlin, a master of illusions. Oh, you said Merlin? Then no, nothing.
Do you know Sterling well?
Yes, I do. Is that where you two lovebirds abound?
Yeah,
It's one of the places we thought we'd see on our holiday.
Be sure to visit the castle, won't you?
Oh, I'm sure it's a neat place. But we are not really interested in history, are we, George?
no.
I suppose espresso bars and boogie-woogie are more your cup of tea.
Boogie
That's
woogie.
right. There's nothing George enjoys more than a good boogie.
Is there a church called St. Ninian's at Stirling?
Yes, there is, and I know why you're going there.
You do?
Of course I do. It's obvious you're in love. You're eloping, and they say romance is dead.
What's the book you're reading?
Oh, it's something I picked up at the station. A medieval detective story. Quite well written for that kind of thing. It's been out of print for years.
D'ailleurs, c'est rigolo parce que l'icône du livre est bleue, mais le livre qu'elle lit, qu'on voit là, il est rouge.
What's the title of the
Petite
book?
erreur.
The Crooked Crusader Caper by Molly Pegram. I assumed the author was a woman, but apparently not. His real name is...
Professor Nigel Pegram.
That's right. Do you know him?
No, I never met him.
George is a great fan of his, though. Where are you going, George?
Do I need to spell it out?
Don't snap at me. If you're going to take a leak, why don't you say so?
Okay, I'm going to take a leak. L-E-A-K.
Tickets, please.
Oh, hi.
That's a standard full-price peak return. Don't you have a senior citizen's rail card?
I rarely travel by train.
La carte
My
vermeille, c'est
ticket is
vieux.
perfectly valid, is it not?
Well, yeah, but you could have saved up to a third of the cost.
I do not need to indulge in puffling thriftiness.
Blimey, you're a funny old bird and no mistake. Tickets, please, sir.
Here.
Off to Stirling, eh?
Yes, we are.
Well, I hope you won't be disappointed. It's a miserable place this time of year. Still, there's plenty of pubs and a lovely view from the castle.
Thank you.
I don't want to worry you, but there was something familiar about that guy.
Are you sure? You're tired. Perhaps you're mistaken.
Maybe. But I didn't like the look in his eyes when he spoke to you.
Est-ce que moi, je vais essayer de lui reparler vite fait, mais je pense qu'il n'y a plus de dialogue. Oui, il n'y a plus rien. Allez, on va sortir de là. On va take a leak.
Can't you sit still, George?
Ah, je peux
I
pas ça.
need to go to the John.
While you're there, check out the buffet card, George. Unthinkable though it is, I am hungry enough to eat English food.
Okay.
Ouais, faut être motivé, hein. Attends, on va parler à tout le monde. Oula.
All I could see of the man's face was a massive purple bruise around his eye. It was a strange contrast with his flaming red hair, which stuck out in stiff, greasy tufts. I didn't want to wake him. To be frank, without a cold water hose, I didn't think I could wake him. The windows seemed to have been sprayed with tiny flecks of froth.
Even open that window, pal.
Why not?
It's freezing out there.
Oh, il a un magnifique accent, lui.
The man's face was blotched and unshaven. I guess he'd been traveling all night. Red-rimmed eyes stared fish-like above his broken nose. Hi! Having a party?
No, this is breakfast. Come on, join us, man. Away, Basha, wake up, man. What's company?
His breath was like the outlet from a chemical factory.
Excuse my mate, he's taking a nap. Sleeping like a bobby. I'll wake him up when we get to Newcastle.
We passed through Newcastle half an hour ago.
And I never noticed.
Have you ever seen anything like these before?
Yeah, those look right wicked.
It's not a weapon.
Well, no, but you have to be flexible, like.
Would you like a red nose?
No thanks, pal. I got one of my own.
Have you ever seen this man before?
Aye, man. He's chalky white, and I claim my 10 quid, like.
No, he's an international assassin, and he goes by the name Khan.
Well, aye, man, but I was close, you know.
Do you know what this is?
No, man, what is it?
It's a hand buzzer.
You won't catch me out with that, pal.
If I'd wanted to catch you out, I wouldn't have shown it to you, would I?
Well, maybe it's his mate, pal. Like a clever double bluff, you know.
Does the name Merlin mean anything to you?
Merlin? King Arthur's queen?
Forget it. What is that stuff you're drinking? It smells like gasoline.
Aye, I'll put hairs in your chest, like.
On your eyeballs, too, by the looks of you. See you later.
Ah, c'est les... Ah, encore un succès. Essayez de faire une blague au plus de personnes possible. Ah oui, pour le buzzer. Ah oui, je crois que j'ai à peu près... oui, j'ai même sûr et certain parlé à tout le monde pour sur le buzzer, donc ouais, c'est logique. Alors, du coup, je sais pas si je dois aller à gauche ou à droite. Je ne sais plus, donc par précaution, je vais sauvegarder. Voilà. Et on va essayer d'aller à droite.
The door was locked. It was the door to the baggage car.
Bon bah comme ça c'est réglé. On va aller à gauche. Bah y a rien en fait. Ouais, y a rien. Allez, encore à gauche.
It was the door to a sleeping compartment. The door was locked. The door was locked. Oh no.
Oh,
That
Guido.
gangster creep from the hotel, Guido. Well, he didn't scare me. Hey, Buster. This is a no-smoking car. Okay, maybe he did scare me. It got worse. I suddenly realized who the conductor had reminded me of. Eklund, Marquet's murderer.
Vous avez vu la différence de taille de tête que Guido il a par rapport à George? C'est un personnage de cartoon, le truc. Du coup, il faut pas que j'aille à gauche, j'imagine. Petite sauvegarde et je vais tenter.
Guido looked like a weasel in a cheap suit. He also looked like the kind of man who wouldn't lose much sleep over murder. I really didn't want to shoot the breeze with this guy. I really didn't want to shoot the breeze with this guy.
Ok, donc je peux pas y aller. Bon, on va retourner voir Nico. Hein. Ou le mec en noir. Ah, faut que je refasse tout le chemin.
Hey, buddy. Listen, I need your help.
What's the matter?
There's a guy on this train who's trying to kill me.
Relax, man. You wouldn't try nothing with us in Basharia. We are veterans like, so action at Brightlingsea.
I don't recall the British Army being involved in a conflict in anywhere called Brightlingsea.
Well, you just take it from me, pal. You're in safe hands.
See you later.
Bon bah du coup on va aller voir Nico. Hein.
The door was the door. I should have known better than to leave Nico and the old lady alone. Suddenly, the sword of Baphomet took second place to finding the girl I loved.
Je m'en doutais qu'il y avait un truc parce que la vieille, la grand-mère de droite là, franchement, c'était pas une femme, hein, c'était un mec avec la voix qu'elle avait là, c'était bizarre. Donc ça doit être un des membres des Templiers. Bon bah je vais retourner voir lui. Je sais pas si ça va débloquer le truc, mais bon.
Hey, buddy. Did you see what happened to the young woman in the next compartment?
No, pal, I didn't. Have you lost her, like?
She's disappeared. The old lady, too. I think they're in trouble.
Oh, wait, man, an old lady, too.
Yeah. You gotta help me.
Maybe they went to the toilet, like.
I don't think so.
They never go on their own. Always in pairs, you know.
No, she's been abducted, I'm sure. I've got to go look for her.
What's stopping you, pal?
The conductor. He's not what he seems.
You want to avoid him, like?
That's about it, yeah.
No problem.
See you later.
Ah bah je peux
You will
sortir.
do it, pal. Don't jump.
I don't intend to jump.
Je vais
I'm
pouvoir
going to
sortir.
climb on top of the train.
You're kidding, aren't you?
Just watch me. The window was wide open to the freezing night air.
Hold on there, pal. I'll give you a hand, like.
Waouh. Bon, alors maintenant, logiquement, je peux pas aller à droite. Pareil. Petite sauvegarde parce que là, je crois que je peux facilement mourir. On va aller essayer Oula, on va essayer d'aller à droite pour voir si on peut. Ah oui, on peut. Alors qu'il faut pas y aller, mais bon. Ah si. Eh, mais je peux descendre là, donc je sais pas si... Oula! Il fallait peut-être aller à droite en fait. Mais c'est Cannes!
I knew killing came easily to Eklund. It was a fire extinguisher. The extinguisher might have been useful to distract Eklund, but I couldn't reach it.
Ah, il va me dégommer. Purée. Yes, we more. Carrément le... C'est très gentil de ta part. Bon. Donc fallait effectivement aller, a priori, à droite.
It was the arm that fed electricity from the overhead cables to the train. I could almost smell the high-tension current.
Et du coup, si on va à gauche, on se fait électrocuter. Ah, à force de mourir, il y aura peut-être un succès, hein. Je me suis fait éjecter comme. Ça va recreuser. Ah non, ça recreuse pas, non. Ok. Donc, on va aller à droite, hein.
Can't you do anything to help me?
Alors, du coup, je sais pas ce qu'il faut.
Let's talk this over like reasonable people, Eklund. I can explain everything.
Bon, décidément. Donc, il y a un truc bien précis à faire, mais quoi?
I figured I'd stand a slim chance of escape if I moved fast enough. But I couldn't leave Nico to Eklund's mercy.
J'essaye toutes les icônes là, mais d'accord, donc bah, je sais pas. J'ai essayé tout, mais ça veut pas. Euh, Ah mais j'ai vu qu'à gauche il y avait un truc là. J'ai vu à gauche il y avait quelque chose. Là, là.
I'd always wanted to stop a train, and now was my chance.
Ouais, voilà, parce que c'était pas possible.
You saved our lives, but why?
You are always on the same side, Stobart. Different causes, but a common enemy.
The Knights Templar?
Don't call them that. The real Templars were a noble foe. These barbarians have no right to that name. These men are no better than dogs.
What are the Neo-Templars after? What is the Sword of Baphomet?
Not what you think, my friend. It is a weapon, yes, but one which our enemies will find difficult to wield. A double-edged sword. A power older than Timolé, older than Solomon.
We'll stop them. You and me together. And Nico.
No, George. My journey ends soon at the Garden of Paradise.
You're talking in riddles. Can't you tell me straight what they're after?
The sword symbolizes a colossal energy, caused by the alignment of the Earth's natural power fields.
Which are focused at St. Ninian's.
The energy endowed the Templars with the power which made them great. A power which made them charismatic to such an extent they could control the will of all around them.
Sérieux, tu lui proposes le nez rouge? Ouais.
Maybe not.
J'adore, il donne la possibilité pour rien.
How did you escape from the bull's head?
It is a long walk from the cliff of the bull to the village Stobart. Fortunately, I know the ways of the wilderness. Also, I have a sister who keeps a garage just around the corner.
Le détail. Je vais réessayer le nez rouge ou pas? Non, ouais, ça veut pas. Ok.
May Allah guide you to our enemies.
Thanks.
One last thing.
What? What is it? He's dead.
On ne saura jamais. Ah, succès, grimper sur le toit d'un train en marche et sauver Nico. Oui, c'est que des succès de scénario, enfin de la quête. Je sais pas s'il y a des succès secrets, j'ai pas fait attention. Petite sauvegarde. Enfin, je pense que ça sauvegarde automatiquement, mais... Oui, c'est ça, c'est le tampon en fait qui sauvegarde. Enfin, l'icône en haut à droite qui s'affiche, c'est qu'il y a une sauvegarde automatique. On va défaire Nico peut-être?
Don't even think about it, Josh.
What? Who?
Look me straight in the eye and tell me you weren't thinking of using that axe on Eklund.
Don't be foolish, woman. I was gonna use it on you.
Normal.
Don't even think about...
What? Who?
Look me straight in...
Don't be foolish, woman. I was gonna use it on...
Ok, donc c'est pas ça. L'extincteur peut-être?
It was a fire. I couldn't think of a...
Ok.
The guy was a professional killer. The last thing he deserved was sympathy. I had to admit it, though. I was sorry he'd ended up this way. Underneath that heap of tumbled crates was Eklund. I wasn't about to help him out. Underneath that heap of Underneath...
Allez, regardez la différence de luminosité, d'éclair. En fait, c'est pas luminosité, c'est l'éclairage. Regardez toutes les caisses et les filets qu'on voit. Là, même l'étiquette sur le carton, regardez. Hop. Ouais, bon, là on voit encore. Mais enfin, c'est... Voilà, c'est dommage qu'ils aient vraiment très assombri ça parce que on voit moins de détails, mais bon.
I'd already used the brake to bring the train to a halt. The rear exit was barred and padlocked.
Ah, j'ai vraiment plus que le nez rouge en volume. Nez rouge sur... Bon, du coup, je sais
The
pas ce que
rear
je...
exit was barred and...
Ok,
The rear exit...
ok, mais comment je la détache, elle? Parce que c'est bizarre, hein. Bon, je me barre.
Where do you think you're going?
Don't worry, I hadn't forgotten about you.
Untell me this instant, Josh Stobart.
I will, when I'm ready.
Ah, c'est bon. Ouais, parce que je me disais, c'est bizarre, il n'y a pas d'interaction avec elle, quoi.
Oh, that's not fair, Josh.
No.
Oula!
You took advantage while my hands were tied.
When Eklund pointed that gun at me, I thought I was gonna die. I thought of all the things I'd never get to do, and kissing you was at the top of my list.
Josh,
Uh-huh.
Josh, we've got to get off the train. Eklund could recover at any time.
So what are we waiting for?
Allez, c'est parti.
What are you doing?
I'm out of here.
Not that door. Do you want to end up like Flap?
Not especially. What remains of him is well on his way back to London. I hope he was traveling on a return ticket.
What are you doing?
I'm out of here.
Not that door.
Not a spell. I hope he was...
Et voilà, on arrive en Écosse. Le dernier, le dernier niveau, quoi. Enfin, le dernier lieu. Donc on est vraiment très très proche. Oh, c'est joli. Non, c'est un bon remake. Il y a que la partie sonore.
I'd feel happier if we had a gun or something.
Khan gave me something.
What?
His handbag.
Oh, great. If we run into any killers, we can give them a good buffeting. Didn't he have any weapons?
You don't know half of it. This bag's full of C4.
Wow. Why didn't you say so? Boy, we'll show them now. What's C4?
Plastic, Josh.
We're going to shop our way to victory?
2 kilos of plastic explosives. The detonator's broken now.
No problem. We'll buy a box of matches somewhere.
It doesn't work that way. It takes a small explosion to start the big explosion.
Well, that's not much use then. What does that sign say?
Apparently, during the English Civil War in the mid-17th century, this place was used as an arms dump.
Yeah? What happened?
Look at the state of this place, Josh. You work it out.
Oh, stray spark?
You got it. The tower was the only thing to survive the blast.
I hope the explosion didn't destroy the sword of Baphomet.
Do you? I rather hope it did.
Oui, je disais, le seul problème de ce remake, la partie sonore. Alors, pas la musique. Pas la musique, mais au niveau des voix, en fait, la partie audio, des dialogues, il y en a globalement, ça va. Mais il y en a certains qui, ouais, on a entendu là dans le train, elle avait une voix super bizarre, quoi. Donc ça aurait pu être amélioré. Je pense, je sais pas ce qu'ils ont fait en fait pour l'audio, comment ils ont récupéré, parce que en termes de visuel, bon bah voilà, ils ont refait chaque plan, chaque image, chaque illustration, mais par contre l'audio, je sais pas s'ils ont retouché, j'ai pas l'impression s'ils ont fait quelque chose, c'est pas énorme. Je pense. Après, il faudrait revoir la version vraiment, la version originale. Peut-être qu'il y a des différences, une amélioration qui a été faite entre temps, mais j'ai pas vraiment l'impression.
It was just about recognizable as the church I'd seen reflected in the chalice. Templars, Roundheads, and Cavaliers. This place has seen a lot of history. A large arch led into the tower.
Ah bah là, pour le coup, c'est pas pareil. Là, il y a beaucoup plus d'effets de lumière, c'est mieux. Enfin, je trouve. On peut revenir en arrière du coup?
There were lots of graves, some as recent as late Victorian. It looked like the locals had carried on using this place as a cemetery long after the destruction of the church. I figured Scotland had had enough trouble with Burke and Hare without me trying my hand at grave robbing. The gate, like a lot of the church grounds, was in pretty good condition. I guess the locals tried to stop it getting too overgrown. No way were we leaving until the mystery was solved.
Ok, ok, t'énerve pas. Bon, bah du coup, on va rentrer dans la tour, hein.
Nico?
Uh-huh.
What should I do with this ticket?
Throw it away next time we pass a waste bin.
I thought I'd keep it as a souvenir. No. The stone face of the demon grinned with a horribly lifelike expression. It was so realistic. I could imagine the sculptor carving it from a live model.
Ah, là, par contre, on voit la différence de clarté, elle est énorme, là.
Examining the demon more closely, I realized something about its face. It was a clever illusion. No matter where I stood, the eyes weren't looking at me. There was a simple reason. The demon didn't have any eyes. It was a heap of stones and stuff which had tumbled down from the rafters. I scrabbled around in the rubble and found an old clay pipe with a broken stem. Under one of the stones, I found a metal coin which was green with age. It was caked with soil, but what I'd found was
Ah
a
bah, dis donc, on
small
trouve plein de
cog
trucs,
and
là.
spindle.
3 objets en moins de 10 secondes.
With mounting excitement, I felt something between my fingers. It was short, hard, and black. Something I hadn't expected to find here. It was a plastic pen top. I didn't find anything.
Bah écoute, c'est déjà pas mal, on a récupéré 4 objets.
The wheel had a serrated edge which meshed with the turning cog. Marks on the spindle behind the wheel suggested it once had a rope attached to it. The wheel turned reluctantly with a creak of complaint. There was no obvious way of removing the wheel from its housing. The wheel turned... There was no... It was a simple cog arrangement with a handle to turn the larger wheel. The handle turned easily and the larger wheel began to revolve. Damn! Then the handle came off in my hand.
J'ai jamais autant récupéré d'objets en aussi peu de temps, quoi. Et en plus un rôle, bah
Now
vache.
that the handle was gone, it was easy to remove the cog and spindle.
Attends, c'est dingue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 objets en 2 minutes. Je crois que c'est l'endroit où tu récupères le plus d'objets dans tout le jeu, quoi.
Above the carved cross was an indecipherable inscription. For all I knew, it could have been scribed in Gaelic. I tried pushing the panel, but wasn't surprised when it failed to move.
Il y a un truc à faire avec la statue, là, avec tout ce que j'ai récupéré. C'est vraiment la toute fin du jeu, là. Là, on approche. Là, c'est derrière cette porte. Je crois que c'est quasiment là, c'est fini.
The cog slipped neatly into the eye socket. With a rasp of metal on stone, I eased the second eye into place. The pipe could have been anything from 50 to several hundred years old. It was an old coin. It was a black plastic pen top. It was the handle from the church tower's winding mechanism. It had cog teeth mounted near its base. I pushed the handle into the demon's mouth. The cogs all meshed. I began to turn.
Bon bah voilà. Je crois qu'on peut mettre la pipe aussi. Ouais.
With the clay pipe in his mouth, he looked happy, homely, like somebody's granddaddy.
Ça sert absolument à rien, hein, mais c'est juste un délire.
I tried turning the cogs, but couldn't move them. I needed a mechanical advantage.
Par contre, la pièce, je sais plus à quoi elle sert. Et ça non plus d'ailleurs.
Nico?
Uh-huh.
Look! I found an old coin! You think it's worth anything?
George, focus on the situation at hand, please.
Look what I found buried in the rubble!
It's a plastic pen top.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Finding something so mundane in a place like this.
Astounding. Let me know if you found any paper clips.
Le foutage de gueule.
Maybe not. As soon as I saw the flickering torches, I realized the bogus Templars had beaten us to the sword. But where were they now? And why was it so quiet? The powder spilling from the barrels reminded me of pirate stories I'd loved when I was a kid. It was gunpowder. It was definitely gunpowder, but it had solidified over the centuries it had lain here undisturbed. The torch burned with a sickly dim glow and a stench like fire and brimstone.
No, George!
What?
Leave the torch right where it is, in case you haven't noticed the crypt is full of gunpowder.
So what? Don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust.
No? You think I'm a jerk, don't you?
Don't be silly, George. And keep your voice down. I thought I heard something. Like chanting.
Bon, ça y est, on arrive. Là, c'est la fin, là. Allez, c'est parti.
Listen, I can definitely hear chanting.
You're right. I hear it too. What do you suppose they're doing?
It wouldn't surprise me if they were holding some kind of satanic sex ritual.
So, what are we waiting for? Shh! Will you look at that? Baphomet. Lobineau was right. This place was ancient even to the Templars.
This whole place? This is Baphomet?
Finally, the truth. The Templars had never worshipped this graven image, no more than they'd worship a rainbow. But, like a rainbow, they regarded it as a symbol of a covenant with God, who'd revealed this place to them.
Aïe, aïe, aïe.
Rosso! Why is it double-dealing treacherous?
On the contrary, Inspector Rosso has been the model of obedience. An important quality in a true Templar. Now be quiet and watch, if you wish to live much longer.
Brothers and sisters, we are gathered here to witness the reforging of the sword that was broken. Here before God's sentinel, Baphomet. Grand Master and Knight of Baphomet, we salute and pledge our obedience to you.
I salute you, gatekeeper of the temple. Seven centuries ago, our greatest weapon, the sword of Baphomet, was lost to us. Now we prepare to reforge it, to wield against new enemies. As the tired millennium dies, and this world looks for new leaders, we shall not fail. We shall lead the people to a new order, wherein all borders will dissolve. All will be united under the Red Cross of the Templars. George, we have watched your efforts to stop us with respect. But surely you realize that you have been misled by our enemies. Both of us want a better world. Fortunately, no harm has been done. We need determined, resourceful men like you. Join us, George. Join us in true brotherhood.
Yeah. True. Wait. Brothers? What about Marquet? What about Pegram and Klausner? You didn't look on them as brothers, only as failures. 3 men dead, and you don't give a damn!
George, you know that sacrifices are necessary. Every great undertaking.
Join you? I'll see you in hell first.
Oh, George, I had great hopes for you. C'est la guerre, et l'on kill him.
Oula.
I swear, I just wanted things to be right.
Voilà, ça se dégomme dans tous les sens.
Take them. Kill them. They will not escape.
Voilà, oula.
Well, well. If it isn't the great detective and his beautiful assistant, it's going to be a pleasure killing the pair of you.
George, what are we going to do?
La torche, la torche.
Come on, Nico. We're leaving.
You fools! You cannot escape us. Guido! Stop them.
But master, the powder!
That powder is from the English Civil War. You fool. It's over 300 years old. How explosive do you think it can be?
I thought
Very.
it was all over, but Nico had one last trick up her sleeve. Or in her handbag, to be exact. A handbag full of plastic explosives.
Maybe, but this stuff is brand new.
Allez,
Oh, dear.
oh, c'est mignon. Je me rappelais pas en fait que la cinématique de fin était aussi longue.
You know, you'll never be able to write your story now.
I don't care. I've got what I want.
Huh?
Just tell me one thing, George. Is our life together always going to be this crazy?
Et voilà. Fin du premier, donc du premier Chevalier de Baphomet. Oui, je disais, je me rappelais pas que la cinématique de fin était aussi longue. En fait, je me demande s'ils ont pas rajouté des choses. Mais c'est très bien hein, si c'est le cas. Je vais vérifier après. Je sais pas si, par exemple, en chargeant la sauvegarde, en chargeant la sauvegarde, par exemple, en version originale, je sais pas. Est-ce que ça changerait quelque chose? J'en ai aucune idée. Je vais attendre. Et puis, je vais essayer de recharger cette sauvegarde après. Sait-on jamais? Peut-être que ça affichera. Je sais pas en fait quand on charge une sauvegarde, enfin quand on se met en mode original et qu'il y a une cinématique, je sais pas si ça remet la cinématique d'origine suivant ce qu'on choisit en fait. Donc on va faire un test. Je pense que ça va pas durer trop longtemps ça. Théoriquement je vais avoir un succès en plus. Bon franchement très bien. Très bien. Bon il y a 2-3 passages pas évidents pour débloquer la situation. Mais en même temps, ça faisait très longtemps que je l'avais pas fait, donc il y a plein de choses dont je me rappelais pas, hein, franchement. Quelques bricoles qui me sont revenues et j'avoue, à un ou deux moments, j'ai regardé une soluce pour être sûr, notamment quand j'étais bloqué en Syrie là avec la balayette. Parce que ça, j'avoue que j'étais bloqué, je savais plus quoi faire, j'avais parlé à tout le monde et rien ne se passait. Et en fait, c'était juste l'observation sur un personnage, il fallait insister en fait. Bon, ça s'invente pas vraiment. Et d'ailleurs, un autre truc en Syrie. Non, c'était pas en Syrie. Je sais plus. Enfin, il y a un autre passage où j'étais vraiment obligé de regarder pour être sûr de ce que je faisais parce que je savais plus. Donc voilà. Mais sinon, il est vraiment cool. Moi, je préfère personnellement le 2 largement. Parce qu'il y a plein de trucs. Dans le 2, on incarne Nico. Alors c'est vrai que dans le premier, dans le director's cut du premier, on incarnait Nico. D'ailleurs, c'est dommage qu'ils aient pas inclus ces passages-là en bonus ou en version. Enfin, qu'on puisse choisir la version par exemple au démarrage, ça aurait été génial. Mais, euh, mais donc dans le 2, on peut jouer avec Nico et puis on voyage un peu plus, il me semble. Enfin, de manière un peu plus exotique, on va dire. Euh, Bon, c'est vrai que dans le premier, on va en Syrie quand même, et en Espagne. Mais ouais, mis à part la Syrie, on reste plus ou moins en Europe. Alors que dans le 2, je sais qu'on va dans les Caraïbes. Voilà, c'est autre chose. Et puis, par contre, je me rappelle, ça c'est sûr et certain, la fin du 2, elle était ultra bâclée. Enfin, la cinématique, ça durait 3 secondes. C'était vraiment. C'était. Ça, s'ils font un remake. D'ailleurs, j'espère vraiment qu'ils vont faire un remake du 2. Pour le côté visuel surtout. S'ils font un remake, j'espère qu'ils vont modifier la fin. Rallonger la cinématique, enfin faire quelque chose d'un peu plus consistant parce que c'était vraiment bug, enfin pas buggé, mais bon, voilà, il manquait quelque chose. Clairement, on restait sur sa fin en termes de fin, c'est le cas de le dire. Euh, voilà. Donc moi j'attends le 2 un jour, dans très longtemps je pense, parce que ça met du temps quand même à refaire ça. Même s'ils ont utilisé l'IA pour apparemment pour au moins l'animation des sprites, donc des personnages. Et je les soupçonne aussi d'avoir utilisé d'ailleurs pour certains visuels parce que il y a des choses, notamment dans l'église de Montfaucon, les vitrails là. Les... Ah, j'ai un doute. Les vitraux? Oui, les vitraux. Je suis bête. Les vitraux qui étaient un peu des paquets de. Enfin, c'est un peu un paquet de pixels quoi. Une bouillie de pixels ou de flousailles. Enfin, c'était bizarre en fait. Ça faisait très IA qui a raté son coup, quoi. Donc je pense que voilà, il y a certains visuels pour gagner du temps. Ils ont fait des essais. Peut-être qu'ils ont fait un rendu pour chaque plan avec l'IA pour voir ce que ça donne. Et les meilleurs, ils les ont retouchés légèrement et hop. Et puis ceux qui passaient pas, bah, ils les ont refait. Et ça serait pas grave, parce que de toute façon, si ça peut permettre d'avoir. Le rendu, il est quand même vachement bien. Si ça peut permettre d'avoir un rendu très bien de sortir le jeu en moins de 2 ans au lieu de peut-être 5 ans s'il fallait le refaire de A à Z, pourquoi pas? Pour ça que j'ai grand espoir pour le 2, parce que je me dis que bon, il est plus ambitieux que le premier à la base, mais il pourrait très bien le faire en pas, pas si longtemps que ça, si vraiment il lance le truc. Après, je sais qu'ils sont en train de faire le 6, enfin il n'est pas officiellement affiché comme 6, mais bon, c'est pareil. Donc ils sont en train d'en faire un nouveau là, donc forcément ils sont concentrés sur ça. Mais peut-être que quand le 6 sera sorti, s'il se vend bien, sachant qu'il a été sur Kickstarter, donc il s'est déjà bien vendu, entre guillemets, pré-vendu. Mais voilà, s'il est bien vendu en dehors des préventes, euh, c'est sûr et certain, je pense qu'ils feront le remake du 2, hein. Et j'attends ça impatiemment. Bon, on va passer la cinématique parce que. Enfin, c'est pas une cinématique, les crédits. Ah, succès. Terminer l'aventure d'une vie. Ah, je me rappelais pas qu'on réapparaissait là.
Hello again.
What now?
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
No more than you, I'll bet.
Does this gem mean anything to you?
Aha! Is it real? It must be worth a small fortune. You stole it, I suppose.
I'm not a crook. Excuse me.
Ah, c'est les extraits en fait.
Yes, sir.
I've got a toilet chain from a bar in Syria.
Ah non.
No, Kitty. A toilet chain? From Syria? You sad man.
C'est des trucs qu'on n'avait pas vus, ça.
What now, monsieur?
Check out my ID card.
Your ID card, monsieur? I don't think so.
No, it's Rosso's card.
Attempting to impersonate a policeman is a criminal offense, monsieur.
Ah, forget it. Thanks for your help, buddy. Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
Does the name on this card mean anything to you?
Augustin Rosso? No, dear, nothing. It conjures up the image of a Gaulois smoking, absinthe drinking French policeman. I'm sure the real Inspector Rosso is nowhere near so romantic.
I think you'd be surprised.
Ok, c'était des petits rajouts comme ça. Vous avez terminé le jeu, merci d'avoir joué. Ok, bon, bah rien de plus. Ah oui, si je voulais réessayer vite fait, mais très vite fait. Charger ça et de le mettre. Ah bah non, 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 non. C'est pas la bonne. C'est pas la bonne sauvegarde. 56, 57. Tour, ruine de l'église Bannockburn. Bah, c'est ça. C'est juste avant qu'on rentre. Voilà. Je vais passer les
As
dialogues.
soon as I saw.
C'est vraiment pour voir si la cinématique se déclenche ou pas en
No,
original.
George!
What?
In case
So.
It's-
No.
you don't... Listen,
You're right. What do you.
it would...
So. Shh.
Ah non. Non, il n'y a plus il y a plus la version originale du coup. Ah ça c'est dommage. Alors, est-ce que ça veut dire que c'est parce que c'est un
Will you
rajout?
look at that?
Mais non, parce que je me rappelle de ce genre de plan.
Baphomet. Lobino was right. This place was ancient even to the Templars.
Non, on peut pas revoir l'original.
This whole place...
Bon, c'est dommage.
This is Baphomet?
Finally.
Bon, je vais le passer. Donc, ça résout pas mon truc. Bon, bah tant pis.
Well, it's.
C'était 9h56. 57? Ah. Ah bah non, oui, on revient à... Oui, d'accord. En fait, la vraie sauvegarde, c'est celle-là. Sauvegarde manuelle que j'avais faite. Ah bah non. Bon, enfin, peu importe. De toute façon, le jeu est fini, donc ça change pas grand-chose. Bon. Donc, eh ben, je vous dis à plus tard. Bon dimanche. Moi, je ferai un autre jeu, je sais pas encore quoi. Peut-être démarrer Assassin's Creed 3 en remastered. Et je vous dis à bientôt. Salut!